March 1985, the chart announcement was scheduled for 4:00 p.m. Central European Time. French radio, Top 40 countdown. Modern Talking's manager sat in his office. Phone ready, notepad open, coffee cold. This mattered. France was the first real international test. Germany loved them. Austria loved them. Switzerland loved them. All German-speaking markets, expected, safe, predictable. But France, different language. Different culture, different market. If you're my heart, you're my soul, charted in France, it meant something bigger, meant international potential, meant breaking beyond the German bubble, meant actual European success. The radio stream played, countdown beginning, number 40, number 35, number 30. The manager listened, tracked, noted. 20 minutes in, there it was. Number 14, You're My Heart, You're My Soul by Modern Talking. 14, not number 1, but 14 was huge, first entry, in France, non-German market. This was significant. The manager kept listening. The show continued, more songs, more artists. Then the DJ announced, and now the updates to our chart. Songs that have moved since last week's count. Suspense building, professional DJ drama. Jumping from number 14 to number 1, a German act making waves across Europe. Modern Talking with You're My Heart, You're My Soul. Number 1, France, international number 1. The manager stared at his notepad. The number he'd just written, 14, crossed it out, wrote 1, first international chart topper, major milestone, career-defining moment. He checked his watch, 4:23 p.m. He needed to call them, both of them, Dieter and Thomas, share the news, celebrate the achievement. Except they weren't together, hadn't been together in weeks. Dieter was in Hamburg. Home, Thomas was in Berlin, different city, different engagement, different world. The manager picked up his phone, who to call first. Protocol suggested alphabetical, Boland before Anders, but fairness suggested simultaneous. This belonged to both equally. He dialed Dieter. While it rang, he picked up the office phone, dialed Thomas. 2 calls, same moment, same news, different recipients. Hamburg, 4:23 p.m. Dieter Boland sat in his apartment. Working, always working, new compositions, new arrangements, new ideas. The phone rang. He checked the caller ID. Manager, he answered. Yes, Dieter. The French charts just announced, and number 1, You're My Heart, You're My Soul is number 1 in France. Silence, Dieter processed. Number 1, France, first international peak. First non-German market conquered. This was huge. This was validation. This was proof that Modern Talking could cross borders, could transcend language, could be truly international. Dieter, you there? Yes, number 1, number 1. First international chart topper. This is massive. What was the jump? 14-1 in 1 week. Even bigger, 14-1 meant momentum, meant the song was catching fire, meant France was falling in love with it. I need to call some people, make arrangements. This changes promotion strategy. We can push into more markets now. Understood. Congratulations, Dieter. You created something special. We created something. The manager heard the correction, noted it. Right, I'll call you tomorrow with next steps. The call ended. Dieter sat, phone in hand, number 1 in France. He stood up, paced, energy building. This was the moment. The breakthrough, the proof that his music worked beyond German borders. He wanted to tell someone, to share this. To make it real by witnessing it with another person. To transform the news from fact to celebration. He grabbed his phone, scrolled contacts, stopped at Thomas. Thomas would understand. Thomas had been there, had sung it, had made it real with his voice, had delivered the emotion that made France fall in love with the song. Together they'd created this. This moment belonged to both of them equally. Shared achievement, shared victory. His finger hovered over the name, Thomas Anders. 1 tap, that's all it would take. 1 call, 1 moment of putting pride aside for shared celebration. 1 bridge across 3 weeks of silence. But could he, after the argument, after the stubborn silence, after 3 weeks of mutual avoidance? Calling now would require explanation, would require acknowledging the gap, would require vulnerability. His finger stayed hovering, not pressing, not moving away, just frozen in indecision. The rational part said, call him. This is bigger than pride. This is career-defining. This matters more than whatever you were fighting about. The emotional part said, don't. Calling shows weakness, shows you need him, shows the achievement isn't enough. Alone, he put the phone down, couldn't do it. The silence between them was too heavy, the argument too fresh, the pride too strong. He'd celebrate alone, again, like the first radio play, like every achievement. Alone, Berlin, 4:23 p.m. Thomas Anders sat in his hotel room. reading, technical vocal book, always studying, always improving. The phone rang, manager, he answered. Hello, Thomas, French charts just came out. How did we do? Number one, you're number one in France. Thomas stopped breathing. Number one, France, international success, first time, first market outside German-speaking territory. This was real, this was bigger than Germany, this was European, this was the dream. Thomas, I'm here, number one, that's incredible. Jump from 14 in 1 week. France loves the song, loves your voice. What happens now? Now we expand, more markets, more promotion. This opens doors. This proves you're not just a German act. We're not just a German act. The manager heard the emphasis. Right, modern talking. I'll call you tomorrow with scheduling. The call ended. Thomas sat, motionless. Number one in France, international breakthrough, career milestone. He wanted to scream, to celebrate, to share this impossible achievement with someone who understood what it meant, what it took, what it represented. He picked up his phone, opened contacts, scrolled to Dieter. Dieter would get it. Dieter had composed it, had created the melody that France had fallen in love with, had built the arrangement that transcended language barriers. Together they'd made this happen. Together they'd reached number one internationally. This was a shared victory, belonged to both, required both, succeeded because of both. His finger moved to the call button, hovered, paused. 3 weeks, 3 weeks of not speaking, of stubborn silence, of mutual pride, of unresolved conflict. Calling would require bridging that gap, would require pretending the fight didn't matter, would require vulnerability. Would require admitting this news is bigger than my pride, would require showing I need to share this with you specifically, not just anyone, you, because you're the only one who understands what number one in France actually means. But could he show that need? After 3 weeks of proving he didn't need Dieter, after maintaining the silence just as stubbornly as Dieter had, after all the pride invested in not being the one who broke first, his finger stayed hovering. The internal debate raged. Call, don't call, share, stay proud, connect, maintain distance. He put the phone down, stared at it. Number one in France, biggest news of his career, and no one to call. Well, no one who would truly understand. No one who'd been in the studio, who'd sweated the details. Who'd worried about the arrangement, who'd bet everything on this working. Just Dieter, and Dieter was 300 kilometers away. Also alone, also probably holding a phone, also probably choosing silence over connection. Hamburg, 4:35 p.m. Dieter made calls. His parents, thrilled but confused. France, that's wonderful, dear. What does it mean? Exactly. They didn't understand. Professional contacts, congratulatory but calculating. This is good for business. We should discuss collaboration. Transactional, not celebratory. His girlfriend, happy for him, genuine but distant from the reality. That's amazing. We should go out tonight. She meant well, but she didn't get it, didn't understand the magnitude, didn't grasp what international number one meant for his career, for his legacy. For his proof as a composer. After the calls, he sat, quiet apartment, gold records on the wall, synthesizers, mixing equipment, all the tools of his success, all the evidence of his achievement, and silence, the kind of silence that makes you aware of your solitude. He looked at his phone again, Thomas's name still on screen, not called, still couldn't. Pride and hurt and stubbornness created a wall. Even for this, even for number one in France, he opened a beer, raised it, to number one, to himself, in his apartment, alone. The celebration he'd imagined was different, was shared, was joyful. This was hollow. The achievement was real. The success was undeniable, but experiencing it alone made it feel incomplete, like winning a race with no one watching. The victory exists, but does it feel like victory? Berlin, 4:42 p.m. Thomas made his calls. His family, proud, loving, but not comprehending. Number one, where? France. Do they speak German there? The disconnect was immediate. His girlfriend, excited, supportive, but surface level. We should celebrate. I'll come to Berlin. She didn't understand he wanted to celebrate with someone who got it, not just anyone, someone specific, industry friends, congratulatory messages. Huge news, let's talk about what's next. All business, all networking, all transactional, none of it feeling like actual celebration, none of it touching the significance. After the calls, he sat on the hotel bed, standard room, generic, impersonal, everything a hotel room is, number one in France, and he was in a Berlin hotel room. Alone, looking at his phone, at Dieter's contact, still not calling, still maintaining the silence, he ordered room service. Champagne might as well mark the occasion somehow. It arrived, he opened it, poured a glass, raised it to the empty room, to France, to himself, to the achievement no one around him fully grasped. The champagne tasted flat, not the champagne itself, the experience, drinking alone, celebrating alone, winning alone. This should have been shared, should have been a moment of partnership acknowledgement, should have been Dieter and Thomas together recognizing what they'd built together. Instead, Dieter in Hamburg, Thomas in Berlin, 300 kilometers apart, both alone, both holding phones, both not calling, both celebrating victories that felt hollow because they couldn't share them. That evening both tried to feel happy. Dieter went out, met friends, they cheered, made toasts, to France, to international success. He smiled, thanked them, but thought, they don't understand, they're celebrating for me, not with me. Thomas stayed in, ordered champagne, called people, created noise, but it felt performative. Going through motions, pretending this was enough, neither slept well, both replayed the moment. The call, the news, the phone in hand, the decision not to call, both wondered, would calling have made it real? Both concluded, probably. Both still didn't regret not calling. Pride has its own logic. Sometimes being right feels better than being happy. That night taught them something they'd learned repeatedly. Success without someone to share it with feels incomplete. Number one in France should have been pure joy, pure validation, pure celebration. Instead, it became another data point in their dysfunction. Another proof that they could achieve great things together while being unable to be together. Achievement without witness is hollow victory. The next day, scheduled studio session. Both showed up, professional, on time, prepared. They nodded, acknowledgement of presence. France number one, congratulations. Dieter said it, formal, distant, professional courtesy. You too, congratulations. Thomas replied, same tone, same distance. That was it. 2 sentences, no excitement, no shared joy, no recognition of magnitude, just acknowledgement, like noting weather. They recorded for 4 hours, efficient, productive, cold. The biggest news of their careers existed in the room, unspoken beyond those 2 sentences, unshared, acknowledged only in formal politeness. The engineer watched, confused. Yesterday, number one France. Today, acting like nothing happened, like it was routine, like international breakthrough was just another Tuesday. This was the dysfunction visible, success happening. Major success, international breakthrough success, and they couldn't celebrate together. Couldn't take a moment to say, we did this, together, look what we created. Instead, formality, distance, professional courtesy masking complete emotional disconnection. The session ended, both left, separately, as always. The manager called later, conference call, strategy discussion. France opens up Belgium, Netherlands, Switzerland, non-German areas. We need to coordinate promotion. You'll both need to travel, separately probably, different markets, different schedules. Neither objected. Separate was fine, separate was expected, separate was how they operated, together professionally, apart personally, successful publicly, disconnected privately. Any questions? The manager asked. No, Dieter said. No, Thomas echoed. All right, congratulations again, this is major, you should both be very proud. The call ended, the manager sat in his office, shook his head. Number one in France, international breakthrough, career milestone, and they celebrated it like a quarterly earnings report. Acknowledged, noted, moved on. This couldn't sustain. Success like this required unity, required partnership, required shared vision and mutual support. They had none of that. They had professional obligation, contractual compliance, mutual benefit from continued collaboration, but not partnership, not unity, not support, just parallel achievement, individual success that happened to be under the same name. Years later, both talked about France number one, Dieter, our first international breakthrough. Proved the music was universal, clean, professional, omitting being alone, wanting to call, choosing not to, the hollow celebration. Thomas, validation of international appeal, important for both of us. Also omitting the Berlin hotel, the phone, the inability to bridge the gap, the empty champagne. During 1998 reunion, when good news comes, Thomas said, we share it, together, no separate celebrations. Agreed, Dieter said. France, we were both alone, both wanting to call, both too proud. Same, exact same thing, this time no pride decisions, we share immediately. The reunion kept that promise mostly, achievements shared, setbacks communicated, progress from 1985. In 2011, Dieter was asked his proudest moment, learning to share achievements instead of experiencing them alone. France number one, we were each alone. By 1998, we'd learned that growth matters more than charts. The France #1 became emblematic, not of success, of dysfunction, not of achievement, of inability to share it. Should have been joy, became cautionary tale, reminder when pride matters more than partnership, when silence feels safer than vulnerability. March 1985, 4:23 p.m., 2 calls, same news, different cities. Both learning, one internationally, both alone, both wanting to share, both unable, both choosing pride, same achievement, different experiences, parallel victories, isolated joy. France proved they could cross borders internationally, but couldn't cross the gap between them. 300 kilometers apart, might as well have been continents. The achievement was real, the pride maintained, but joy absent, because joy requires sharing, victory requires witness. When the news came, the two people who most understood were 300 kilometers apart. Both alone, both learning, getting everything professionally while having no one to share it feels like winning and losing simultaneously. #1 in France, last in partnership, international success, personal failure. That was March 1985. They learned it. It took 13 years to apply it.